Hello crafters and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Deepa from DeeZinesByD and thanks for joining me. Now today we're going to be working with the Magical Fuchsia Collection by Alex Siberia at Spellbinders. This is a new release released just today, and I'm going to be showing you a few cards to inspire you with this collection. So these are all of the products that are in this collection. There are 4 of them. We have coordinating stencils, which coordinate perfectly with these plates here, which are the better press plates, which also have coordinating dies. There is a set of dies which you can use separately. I do want to note that they do not coordinate with the better press set, the stencils, or the embossing folder. So the dies are on their own. However, you can see the embossing folder, very pretty. All 3 products to the right coordinate, and the dies are basically standalone. However, they can be used together with the other products. All I want to say is that the stencils can be used on the better press set, and they can be used on the embossing folder. So the first thing I'm going to work with is the better press plates, my favorite. I'm going to go ahead and just letterpress that beautiful fuchsia design. I'm just using some plain old black ink here, and it is the better press black ink. And then I'm going to add some color. So I'm going to add some purples, darker and lighter, and then a bit of coral. And on the leaves, I'm going to stick with some greens, more so like the brighter emeraldy type greens. And then I'm going to add a little bit of deep blue just to add some interest to it. So there are 5 stencils included in the stencil pack. I am going through them in order, 1 through 5. You don't have to do them in order. There's no really rhyme or reason to the order. It's just to give you a guide to follow. So if you want to start at number 5 or number 4, that's up to you. And I'm just going to add color as I go along. Now, as you notice, there are 3 stencils which color in the petals, and then there are 2 stencils which color in the leaves and vines. So the last 2 I think are the leaves and vines, so those are reserved for the greens. And then the first 3 we're going to do the purples and the corals, just to get all that color flowing and working with this image. And you can always switch up your color scheme. You could just use one color if you wanted, and then you just have to kind of go through the 3 stencils that you do the petals with. So you can see that that final stencil also colors in the little what are they called? Like the anthers that are like in the center of the flowers, those little bits hanging out. I'm using the coordinating die to cut out this entire image. And then I'm grabbing these ovals. I forget the actual name, but I will link the product down in the description below in the supplies list. They are Spellbinders ovals. It's from a past collection, and I'm just using them on some gold mirror cardstock to cut out a frame. So I took 2 of those ovals, which was one size bigger than the other. That was enough to fit on my card in the size that I wanted it to be. And I cut out the frame by taping them together. Now I'm using the smaller of the 2 ovals that I used to cut out my frame to cut out an opening on my card panel, which is a green card panel. Again, I'll link this in the supplies list. It is a Spellbinders cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and add the foiling of one of the sentiments here with just some plain old gold foil. I think this might be champagne. Again, products linked in the supply list. And yeah, that came out really nice. Now I can go ahead and add my background. So I'm using a deeper red. Again, this is another Spellbinders cardstock. I love all the Spellbinders cardstock. It's really nice, and I love the quality of it. I know the variety pack was available recently and then it sold out. If it is available, I am going to link it down below so you can check that out and just to see, because I do encourage you to get that pack to kind of get used to the colors and then find the ones that you like and then maybe buy the bigger packs for those, and that's what I tend to do. So now I've gone ahead and I've attached that mirror oval frame to the front. I still have the bit that hangs off the edge there still on it. I'll cut that off later. Now I'm going to add some craft foam here. You can use some foam squares or foam strips if you have them. I'm just using some craft foam here and just adding some adhesive on either side in order to get it stick in between the layers. Completely up to you. This is the cheapest way to go, I think. Craft foam is kind of inexpensive, and then just adding glue on either side is super duper expensive. I'm going to go ahead and attach this to the card base. So the card base is 5.5 by 4 1/4 A2 sized, And I'm going to cut off that extra frame so we've got this like half frame on the left side. Then I'm going to add some more craft foam to the Magical Fuchsias that we letterpressed and inked up and die cut. And this is just going to prop it up just a little bit to keep it in line with the foreground here with the sentiment. And then I'm going to stick it in that little window and have just the little bits of like the stamen. I'm sorry if I'm getting the name wrong. I always forget it. But the centers of the flowers just kind of sticking out the bottom. Looks very pretty, all that on its own. And I'm just going to add some gems here. These are Berry Spellbinders Color Essential Gems. And I'm just going to add them all over the image. And this is the final result that you get. It's very classy, very easy to do. And you could probably make a bunch of cards this way. So moving on to my second card here, I'm going to go ahead and grab the embossing folder and just emboss this pink or fuchsia colored background here. I'm going to put that to the side because that's going to be our background, and we're going to go and cut out all of our pieces using the Magical Fuchsia die set. So remember, this one coordinates with everything, but it doesn't fit the size of the Better Press because I had thought maybe I could put the leaves or the petals on the Better Press image. It's a little bit bigger than that, so you can't really do that, but you can do what I'm doing right here. So I've cut everything out of the colors I want. There is a guide with the packaging that's going to show you how everything comes together. If you actually, I don't have the packaging, so if it's not included in the packaging for some reason or other, you can find it online on the Spellbinders site. Now, I cut the petals out of a mix of darker yellow and light yellow, and I actually took all of those petal dies and cut them out 4 times so that I could create a bunch of these. I'm going to go ahead and layer these just as the guide tells me. Now, each of those petals has a letter on them, A, B, C, D, and you're going to put them together based on those letters and the guide. So when you look at the guide, you'll see that there's a smaller flower and a larger flower. I just made one of the smaller ones. Then I made a second one, and I'm going to show you how to make it larger here. So in order to make it larger, I think you have to add the petals from C and D. A and B makes the small flower, and then when you add C and D, you get the larger flower. So I did find that adding the small flower onto that little stem bit that hangs down, which I just added here, makes it easier to attach the extra petals, which makes this a larger flower. That way you can attach them to that like longer kind of cup that attaches to the base of the flower, and it kind of comes together a little easier that way. Then you have 2 more petals which kind of just stick out from the side, but you have to tuck it in the back. I accidentally put some glue on the front, but it should go in the back. And then what I'm going to do is put this together on the actual branch. So I've got a larger flower and the smaller flower, and then I've got the little bud, which you kind of have to attach to that little column that is hanging from the branch. And then there are the leaves that you can put on there, but I'm going to put that together in the end. And then I'm also going to create another set of these and a flower that's kind of like in between these 2 sizes. So all you do is you add the petals from C, the die C, but not from D, in order to get the medium size if you want to do that. So now I've got this notched rectangles die set. I want to do my sentiment here. So I'm grabbing the sentiment from the Better Press set. I'm foiling it. And I think I did this one with some rose gold foil. It's the rose gold or blush. Sorry, it's the blush foil. I'm going to go ahead, foil that, cut this out, and you get a beautiful, nice little sentiment die cut piece. Now let's put the entire card together. So I've got the card base. I've cut out some yellow cardstock, and this is the same yellow used in the flower, so everything coordinates. The yellow cardstock is 5.5 by 4.25. I'm going to put that onto the same size card base here, side folding white. And then I'm going to add the embossed panel, which I did cut down a little bit. So I cut off 1/4 of an inch from the top and the side, which will give you a 1/8 of an inch border around the edges. I'm going to go ahead, stick this on with the border. And now I can start assembling this with the Magical Fuchsias. I keep wanting to say magnolia, but they're fuchsias. So I've got the sentiment panel here. I'm adding some craft foam in order to attach this and prop it up a little bit so that it kind of stands out from the background there. I'm going to attach this to the card on the bottom right where I want it to go. And then I'm going to attach the fuchsias. And I'm going to do this by adding a small square foam adhesive piece, only one behind each of the flowers. We can glue down anything more that we want to afterwards, but I like to do it this way so that if I want to tuck things like the leaves in behind, there's space to do so. So I don't have to cut the leaves apart. It makes it a little bit easier. So I've gone ahead and attached that. Now I'm going to cut apart the second branch that I cut out here out of brown, and I'm going to attach it right behind that large flower so that I can kind of extend the look of this hanging fuchsia. And I'm going to add another floral, so this is the medium-sized one, to that branch, and I want it to overhang over the sentiment just a bit. I hadn't glued it down, so I will adhere that now, knowing exactly where that flower is going to go that is overlapping with it. And then I have another bud, which I'm going to attach to that other branch. You can see it's empty right now. There's nothing on the end of it. I'll go ahead and add some foam and attach that. And then all that's left to do is to basically build up the rest of the card. So add a bit more detail. So I'm going to go ahead and add the leaves, which you can see I cut out of a muted green and then like more of a vibrant green. And they're both in the olive tone of color in order to go with the yellow and this color scheme that I have going on this card. So I'm going to go ahead and add those leaves wherever I see fit. Now, if you want to follow the guide, you can place the leaves how the guide tells you, but you don't have to follow it to a T. You can put the leaves wherever you want to put them in order to make your design work from you. You'll notice that I'll be putting them around the branches, sticking out from behind the flowers, and I'm also going to stick a couple of them out of the little sentiment, the sentiment die cut piece there as well. Now I was going to create another flower and kind of put it coming in off the right side of the card. However, I didn't want to cover up all of the embossing in the background on that pink panel, so I decided not to. So this is the second card that I'm sharing with this collection. There is a third card, which I didn't go through the creation process in this video, but I am going to show it to you because I think it's really cool and it goes with the rest of them, and it's really simple to do. I'll go over that in a minute. But moving on with this card, we will bling it up a little bit more with some gems. And you'll notice that the little anther bits, the centers of the flowers sticking out, I did cut that out of some gold glitter cardstock. And this is, again, the Spellbinders cardstock, which I will link in the description below. The gems that I'm using today are the Aura AB gems, but they have like a yellowish tone to it, which I thought went really well with this card and all the yellow that we have going. And that is the final card for the second card. I hope that you like this one. It's my favorite. Tell me which one you like the most. So these are the two cards we created, and here's the third card, which I created off camera. You'll notice that I did the same thing. I just kind of letter pressed the fuchsias with some purple ink, and then I also added a little bit of shading using the stencils with some more purple ink. I added the diamond frame with some matte gold cardstock, and then the sentiment. So those are my cards for today. I hope you guys have been inspired to create something similar yourself. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more inspiration. Bye.